Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 3 p.m. here in New Vienna, Iowa. That means it's time for another live stream. Today is Tuesday, December 5th, 2021. It's a Trivia Tuesday, so we're going to have five. Actually, they're running related questions this time. They're not always running related. And there's no points. There's no score. I mean, there's points. Keyfortification has infinite points permanently, but I'm not really keeping track of points. And normally it doesn't matter, but today I am doing a giveaway, although the points for the questions don't matter because we'll just do the bonus round for the giveaway. I'm clearing out stuff that I reviewed and just other things that I don't need around here. I'm trying to make some space. And today I was looking through and I found this. This is actually a brand new, unopened, in the plastic shrink wrap pair of Pamu Quiet earbuds. I actually really like these. They've been the earbuds that I've been running in. I actually prefer these to the AirPods Pro, believe it or not, for the most part. There's certain things that the AirPods Pro do better, but I really do like those. They sent me two. I don't know if they accidentally sent me two or what, because they weren't like, hey, do a giveaway for one, or like, here's a second. I think like two different people from Pamu emailed me, and I think I said yes to one of them, but then the other, I don't know, but I have a second pair of these. So I'm going to do the giveaway for these. So we'll keep it to the continental US only. Unfortunately, sorry about that, guys. It just makes it easier for me to send out under current conditions. So we'll do that on the bonus round. Most of these questions, I've made it so that way you can, well, except for the first one. The first one, I didn't write it the right way. I should have done it differently. But most of these are written in a way, no, actually two of them. I usually try to make it so that you can guess no matter what. How much you do or don't know about running, but today I didn't do as good a job. Some of these questions I do a little bit better, where you can just kind of guess. Yeah, so more than half of the questions you can just randomly guess. So before we get to that, though, let's say hi to everyone listening on the podcast version. Hope you guys are having a good run. How are you guys doing today? And everyone that's watching this on YouTube after the fact, so you can't participate in the giveaway, but you can always kind of pause the video as I'm asking the questions, or there's usually enough time for people to answer. I'll usually field any running related questions if anyone has those, or any just things that we want to talk about. If anyone's new here, sorry, the preamble is getting a little bit longer. I got to tighten this up. For anyone that's new here, if you have a running related question, there's no real structure to these podcasts. It's just us hanging out. So feel free to drop them in there every time. All right, let's see who's here. We got Brett Reed saying his workday used to end at 4 and it now ends at 3. Says thanks, Co. I'm very sorry about that. But I know what you're feeling. I specifically know what you're feeling today, Brett, about that though, because as I was reviewing these earbuds, the Drybar 85T, I thought, you know what, maybe I should watch some movies, consume some media other than just podcasts and music as part of my testing. And I started watching The Mandalorian, or finished watching season 1 of The Mandalorian, and I just got hooked. And so I'm pretty much all the way done with season 2 of The Mandalorian. I have like an episode and a half left. And that's the only reason that there isn't a video today, this morning, is because, I kind of told you guys yesterday, like my footage wasn't great that I had for today's video because my lenses froze over. There was just frost on them and everything's kind of like all blurry and fuzzy. So that's part of my lack of motivation for getting a video out today. But really, I was just sucked into a couple of episodes of The Mandalorian. So I'm really sorry about that. But I know the feeling, Brett. Carlos says, came back from a 3-mile run. And before that, I haven't done a run outside except for playing in the yard and things like that. All right, there you go. Good job. Carlos says the Pamu Quiet giveaway. Nice. Yeah, it's they keep surprising me. They really do. It's a company that I'm kind of rooting against them as well, just because I don't like the way that it's one of those companies where you buy something and you might get it right away, or it might take 4 weeks and there's no customer service. Those kinds of things always kind of make me wary, W-A-R-Y, of a company, but the quality of this product is there. So, so there's that. Martha's here. She says, hi, everyone. I love Tribute Tuesday. Awesome. Good to see you. And Sabanadzovic Kadir says, hope that you're having an amazing week. No running for me because of obligatory 14-day quarantine. Sucks because I might lose some running fitness, but oh well. Yeah, I know a lot of places are going under lockdown. And I wasn't sure for a lot of these places if it was hard, full on lockdown, or you can go outside, like get your daily ration of physical activity, like once a day. I think it was twice a day before. I saw on Twitter my first grumbling about people calling each other out for going out for their daily run. That's starting. So I've learned that some places that you can go, but it seems to be like we're back at that point in time again. So everyone that's going through that, I feel for you, and I hope you get it through it quickly. Martha says it's almost a whiteout over there in Colorado. Oh, nice. Here, the weather just continues to be really strange. It's warmer than it's been, but it's very humid air. And the humid cold air is just like a very strange thing. And we actually had some sunshine today, but we've had so much fog. Like winter fog is also a really strange thing. And it makes everything get like frosted. Not like iced over, but like a gentle layer of like this, like freezer. Everything is freezer burned. And even on my run, I just come back and I'm like, it was 25 degrees out. I shouldn't feel this cold, but you feel freezer burn when I come back. So that's kind of how I'm feeling about it. But hopefully things aren't quite as bad there. But if it's a whiteout, that's going to be tough to run in. Chris Dykes here says, hey, folks. And Ben Browning says, sad we can't win outside the U.S. Mike, can you arrange an international quiz? I can arrange an international quiz, but the reason why I limit it to the U.S. only is because I bought a scale, and it connects to your computer, and then like you buy the postage online, and I can send it out. When I've tried to do that, so that way I can just drop it off at the post. I don't have to like talk to anyone. I just drop it. But when I tried to do that internationally, at least back the last time I tried it was like in June or July, it was like, this feature's not available for international shipping now. So I think I had to like go talk to someone, or I just don't know if like I was trying to send stuff to the UK and it just wouldn't let me. So like, I don't know if I even tried to go to a post office, if they would be like, yeah, like the UK is not accepting mail from the US right now. I don't really know what like the deal is, but it just made it really hard. So I feel like until like things calm down, it's probably going to be just the US for a while. It's not that I'm just trying to like be like ethnocentric or anything. It's just I'm worried about like I don't want to have to try and go fill out forms at a post office or anything like that. That's the thing. All right, David Prabhu says it's 75 and sunny where he is. That sounds pretty nice. Albert Lung is here as well. JC's here. Let's see. Andraz is here, says, all right. Oh, there was an earthquake. Well, hopefully you're okay. And Maui Swift says, yeah, the Canadians feel left out. Yeah, I don't know what would happen. Maybe I'll just do a test to see if it will let me ship to Canada or let me ship to like the UK. Maybe I'll put in some addresses and see like how that works, if like the software will let me do it anymore. But because if I can, then I'll do it. But yeah, so I got to do some more testing. And Sam Matassa says, anyone in the chat order anything from Insta360 store and deal with sketchy customer service? I have not had that before, but like my problems, well, I haven't had problems. I've had two things. One thing recently and one thing just generally. The bigger thing that happened to me was everything just got delayed for a long time because they I don't know if they manufacture or ship like out of Wuhan, right? So it was like, where was it? Yeah, I think part of like their supply chain goes through Wuhan. So like it was a problem earlier last year. The other thing that happened to me recently was I ordered another selfie stick because I broke one. It froze. And it just snapped. But then I ordered another one on Amazon and it was fulfilled by Amazon. And Amazon sent me an empty bag. They just sent me like an empty bag. It was really weird. So I just was like, I want a refund because I got an empty bag. And they were like, all right, well, we'll refund you the money. So I was like, oh, well, okay. I didn't know if they were going to want like a picture of the empty bag or what. It was weird, but weird stuff happened. Orm McGowan's here. Says, hey guys, Matt Frederick says, just ordered a pair of No Blaster, come in 2 days. Excited to have a new daily trainer. Awesome. Watch the top 5 trainer bed to decide. It's a good shoe. I hope you enjoy it. David Lidstone says, hey, Cole, you said in your latest video you were going to do something. I can't remember what, but you definitely said something. What was I going to do? I don't remember. All right, maybe someone else can remind me. Sam Matassa says, I tried to use your affiliate link on the Insta360 store and they were asking for a picture of my credit card and ID. That sounds unusual. I've never had that happen before. That sounds a little bit strange. Carlos says, we'll do this last one and then we'll get to the first question for today. Today's theme, by the way, is going to be cold weather running because it's been really cold. Carlos says, have you run in the Meta Racer lately? I think the last time I ran in it was the A6 Ekiden virtual that I did with Emily and Ed Bud. So that was the last time. I think I ran on it 2 days in a row. The second day was like a 8K maybe, something like that. Maybe a 5K. I think an 8K ish. It was a weird number because it was rounding out the total of 42 kilometers. And then the first day I ended up running a total of like 13 miles in them, 12 miles in them. It was, I mean, not all racing speed, but like a longer run. So it was good. It was good. But not in like the snow. I haven't busted out in the snow. All right. Lots of questions here today, and hopefully I'll try do my best to try and get to them all, but I do want to get to some of the trivia for today. All right. So theme is cold weather running races. I know there's like skiing races and dog sled races and stuff like that, but I wanted to keep it to cold weather running races. So here's the first one. All right. With only 11 finishers since it started in 2007. So this race started in 2007 and it's only had 11 finishers. What 560 kilometer race calls itself the toughest, coldest, and windiest extreme ultra marathon on the planet? This one you're going to have to either know. So I should have done it. I should have made it in like how long is this race? But it's only had 11 finishers in like 13 years. I don't remember. Most of these races, I don't know exactly why, but I have some suspicions, but they're also like most of these are in like the Arctic Circle, so they all seem to be going ahead for 2021. If anyone's interested in these races, all right, let's see. And if anyone has any running questions, now's a great time to do it. Let's see. Louis Besser says Himalayan Trail. Nope. Ray says it's in his backyard. No. Not that one. Scott says Barkley. What state is the Barkley Marathon in? Is that Tennessee? I'm not sure. Leadville 100. I think Leadville gets cold, but not as cold as this. It crosses the Arctic Circle. Let's see. Martha says Mount Washington. Let's see. A couple of guesses for Barkley Marathon. Samuli Hersey says that Iditarod thing. It's sled dog, so I wouldn't have counted that one as a running race, but I guess it is still a running race. And it says got his mind with the running with the dogs still too. So he's got Iditarod. Philip Bourne says something in Siberia. Not this one, but we'll get to some Himalayan Siberian. We got some Siberian races coming up later. Not posting up the questions. Oh yeah, I got to do that. I should have done that. Sorry, Frank. I'll do that for question number 2. Christopher Rochelle, 6633 Arctic Ultra. I've never heard of this before. I don't know how famous it is or isn't. But yeah, that is it. 6633. I think those are the coordinates of when it crosses the Arctic Circle. I think something like that. It has nothing to do with its location. But it describes itself as a nonstop, self-sufficient foot race over a distance of either 120 miles or 380 miles, with both races crossing the line of the Arctic Circle. It starts in Eagle Plains in the Yukon, so up in Canada. So that's crazy. But you have to like run with like a sled behind you. I guess you can't push it. I guess you pull it behind you, but the pictures of it are absolutely insane. Jeff Elliott's here, said finally made it for a bit. Hello. Spencer says, yo, what's up, friends? Gary Villar says the Arrowhead 135. I've never heard about that one. Will Willing says, is it my imagination or does activating the glute help a more powerful toe off? See, I'm not sure, but I would suspect that it, for me, at least the way that I'm doing it, and again, I'm not positive that I'm doing it right, but the way that I'm doing it, I actually feel like I'm toeing off less because of the way that I'm trying to push back and the mental cues that I'm giving myself. I feel like what I'm trying to do is land a little bit on my forefoot, and then as I'm pushing off, push into the ground with my heel. That's kind of like my mental cue for when I'm trying to activate glutes while running. I don't know that my heel is actually touching the ground, but that's kind of like how I envision it. So I don't feel like I'm up on my toes more. I feel like I'm like chest forward more. That's kind of how I feel. Mark Chango says, I can't even drive that distance without 3 overnight stops. That's funny. Awesome. That's so funny. But like, yeah, I mean, I didn't realize there were this many like cold weather races. I found like a bunch of them. And what's the craziest part is like by the end of like putting together the questions for trivia today, I was like, I don't know, maybe I want to do one of these. But you know, the temperatures that we're going to be talking about today are just way beyond what I'm experiencing here. All right, well, let's get to question number 2 for today. And this time I'll put it up. I totally forgot. I don't know why. I just had like a brain fart and totally forgot. All right, here's the other one that is, I should have written it better. I should have written it as like something that you could just guess like a distance or something, but I didn't. So here's number 2 though. All right. What Siberian, say we're in Siberia already. What Siberian ice marathon starts with a shot of vodka and is run across the frozen surface of a lake? So it's this giant lake, and well, I guess not that giant, but it's giant. The lake itself is giant, but you run from like one side to another of it. I'm guessing not that wide side of it, but I mean, I guess it's still 26 miles across. That's a pretty big lake. Anyone know that I'm actually looking for the name, and I normally try not to look for the name of these things. Rick says, why I hate the cold. Yeah, I mean, I have a love-hate relationship with it. I think Martha, did you know this one already? Lake Baikal? Amazing. Crazy. That's the right answer right off the bat. Maui Swift said Yukon Arctic Ultra. Brett Reed said the Smirnoff 26.2. That'd be pretty good. That'd be amazing if Smirnoff had like just like a polar bear marathon. That'd be weird. I don't know who would show up to that. That could like get a bunch. That could be an interesting group of people that you collect if you just call it polar bear marathon. But Jana knew it. Timothy Betts knew it. How do you guys know all these? Crazy. Jay-Z said it's a Yakov Smirnoff marathon. Awesome. Alberto Reyes has it as well. Crazy. Mark says, I like this vodka race already, the Grey Goose 26.2. Yeah, you know, I don't think I've had Grey Goose vodka. I don't think I've had any vodka in a very long time. It used to be one of my favorite like drinks of choice. Carlos Seja says, what my laptop died. What was the answer for number 1? It's the 6633 Ultra. And can we Google answers? I mean, you can, but I mean, it takes the fun out of it a little bit. Scotty B says the 120 record for that other marathon is 34 hours. Where's Bert? Yeah, I mean, I think like, so I've seen like when David Goggins like would post photos of like him doing, was it Moab? You run with like basically like a jogging stroller or something like that with all your stuff in it. And like at that point, I'm like, I'm out. You know, if I could carry it on my person, I'm good. But like, if I got to have a sled or like some sort of other support vehicle that I have to push under my own human power, I don't know. That's beyond me. I mean, I've never even done 50 miles before, so it's like, I'm not in for that. Andras Stefanik says the best vodka is Slovenian vodka. I don't think I've ever had a Slovenian vodka before, or is that a brand? But either way, I'd like to try that. Yeah. Alexander Astasia says, the P. Diddy Ciroc my marathon. P. Diddy did run a marathon though, didn't he? I thought he did. I think it like keeps showing up. Like if you ever Google like celebrities who've run a marathon, there's like a Runner's World article that has him and like, you know, a whole bunch of a lot of people in New York seem to do it. Yeah, Jeff Elliott says most races, Moab included, have aid stations. The cart type things are usually for self-supported things. Yeah. So like this one that they were not the other one, the 6633 Ultra, that one is self-supported. And then I don't know if I forget, but I've heard David Goggins talk about a race where he had to like push basically a jogging stroller full of stuff. So I thought it was Moab because that's a really long one, right? But I don't know which race he did. Bike Friends says, any suggestions for how to get over imposter syndrome when first started running? I look so silly feeling this out, but it feels so good. Just keep doing it. Keep showing up. You know, everyone that's there had felt the same way at some point, you know, and I think another thing to do is, I mean, it's difficult now because you can't I mean, I guess some running groups are meeting, but I think part of it is like it just feels intimidating. And this is advice that I need to take myself. I have a hard time like meeting a new group of runners a lot of times, like showing up to a new run group. But like just start talking to people. It just, I think a lot of times it feels like everyone there has known each other for a really long time and it's cliquey. But, what I find is like, oh yeah, this is my fourth time here. Or this is my third time, is what a lot of people say. So just dive in and just embrace it. I think because the alternative is you're going to feel like you're an outsider and then you'll stop going. So that's like the worst thing that can happen. And if it's a running group, that's not what the running group wants, so everyone has that feeling, acknowledge it. It's okay to have it, but everyone's has their different levels that they're at and different histories or whatever, but you're all there to do the same thing, just to run. So enjoy it. Just dive in. Find, you don't have to be friends with everybody. Just find one friend and then you guys can run together. All right. Let's see. Let's get to question number 3. All right. I got to do some clicking here. All right. Here's one. So here's one that like anyone I think can, you can just guess. All right. Period there. Okay. Question number 3. The last desert bills itself as the only multi-day race on the Antarctic continent. It's a running race. How long is it? Last, I think, I keep wanting to say desert, but it's desert. Yeah. Multi-day race on the Antarctic continent. Let's see, it is, how many days is it? I think it's 6 days, 6 stages, so 5 or 6 days. So it's a long race. So any guesses for how long that is? Or maybe someone knows. Let's see, we've got, I forget the number already because I've got it on a different tab. So Daniel South says 6 days, 7 days. Runner's race is 26.2 miles. I mean, that's a long way to run, I think, in Antarctica. But I mean, it's a multi-stage race. So like, I think there is an Antarctic marathon because there's like that 7 marathons in 7 days event thing that you can do, So people have run a marathon before. This has got to be longer. Jeff thinks 200 miles. EL thinks 100 miles. Mark also thinks 200 miles. Lewis says the Dakar Ultra. Is there an ultra marathon in Dakar? I mean, I know like there's like the automobile event, right? I keep wanting to call it the Dakar Noir, but that's Dakar Noir, the cologne. But I always get those confused, to be honest. A lot of guesses for 100 miles. Nicholas Anderson coming in with 300. This is the last dessert would be sad news. That would be like a very sad, ultra. It's like, oh, the last dessert. Like the first, if you don't, it's like an elimination race. The last person doesn't get to eat a dessert or something like that on each lap. David probably says 150 miles. Stevie 76, coming in with 1776. I don't think we've seen that answer in a while. Awesome. Jeff Elliott thinks the other Jeff has it. 250 kilometers. Is that right? Yes, that's it. 250 kilometers is the answer that I have. It says competitors traverse up to 250 kilometers or 155 miles across the largest desert in the world, which is often referred to as the White Desert. The race is held around the Antarctic Peninsula, which has a remarkable history of polar exploration and whaling. That's like a weird fact to add in there, I think, when you're talking to people that are going to go run there. But anyway, it says the scenic backdrop includes icebergs, mountains, research bases, seals, birds, and penguins. That's quite a bit. That's like, I mean, I didn't think that there was that much living on it in Antarctica, but I mean, seals, birds, and penguins. It makes it sound like there's like, it's just like a weird like utopia of creatures. Here's a description that I didn't read you guys for that Baikal marathon in Siberia. It's run across a lake, the Lake Baikal, which I think is one of the largest freshwater bodies of water in the world. It has like 20% of the world's fresh water. It's a very deep lake, I think, from what I read. And it says the description of that marathon from the question number 2 is that it offers competitors the unique opportunity to race across the frozen waters of the largest, deepest, and biologically richest freshwater lake in the world. This is a quote, the utterly featureless landscape gives little or no sense of perspective to competitors, offering them nothing to focus on but how far they are from their goal. What a bleak description of the race. I mean, the photos of the race look amazing. It looks like super incredible, and it looks like there's support like the whole way. But like that description is just like, I mean, if you're thinking about like, I want to travel to Siberia to run across a frozen lake in the middle of winter in Siberia, I mean, that probably appeals to you, right? I'm not sure, but these races are just like absolutely insane. Right. I'll get question 4 like lined up, but then we'll see what other comments and stuff we have here before we get to it right away. EL says polar bears are only in the Arctic. Yeah. It took me a while to like remember that. Let's see. I think there was one. Oh, okay. Yeah. This next one, we'll talk about polar bears more in a second. We'll get to that one. Stephen Gersdorf says, like, the description of that not the last, but the Baikal marathon where you're running across the ice. Says it's like a nightmare where you're running and not getting anywhere. It kind of does, doesn't it? Although I can't. I mean, I would think that like, if it wasn't for the fact that I would not be able to get out of my mind how cold I was on that race, I feel like in some senses it might be like kind of liberating, because then it's just like you're just moving, or it's just like constant. I don't know. There's something about that is slightly appealing to me. I don't know what's wrong with me, but there's something about it that I'm like, that's kind of nice. It'd be like a really weird treadmill type of experience, I guess. But it also kind of reminds me of like when I was up in Lake Geneva last winter. The last time I went to run around that lake, it was cold. I think I had a couple of runs up there. One was like, they were all around like 0 Fahrenheit. One was sub-zero. One was slightly above. Super cold. But the ice on Lake Geneva in Illinois freezes over thick enough that they can have those giant, like, they look like single person catamarans, but they got ice. They got big blades on them instead of like pontoons or whatever a catamaran is made out of. So it's got a sail and you sit on it. There was like a Bond movie with those things in them. And they have those races. There's races for those things. And people were like driving pickup trucks out onto the ice to unload their sail sled things. And they're just having races around the lake. Pretty cool. I think I'd rather do that than like run across a frozen lake. But then like, anything where you're like encouraging more wind and speed is just going to make you feel that much closer. So I don't know. Either way, it's going to be pretty painful. All right, let's see. Runner Will says, Mike, Marathon de Murdoch runs through wine country in France, and I think the tables might have wine on them. You get a wine battle at the finish. That sounds amazing. I've never heard of that. That sounds great. Martha says, about running nowhere. I once ran around a ferry ship along the Norway coast. Didn't have my Garmin, but wondered how it would react to being on a moving ship, but running in circles. I'll have to go look, because I did the same thing with, I don't know if I think I might have had an Apple Watch at the time. I'm not sure which watch I had, or if I even bothered to turn it on. I think I did. But I was on a Disney cruise ship, and I was running around, like one of the decks is like open air. And so I ran around that deck for a while, a whole bunch of laps. I think like each time around, I can't remember how far the boat was around its circumference in terms of what I was able to run around, but I did that. I don't remember what it looked like. Carlos has his, why does Kiefer get infinite points forever? Because he made a prediction about like the election or something like that. I forget. It was a long shot. John Smith says, anyone got any shoe advice? I was thinking of getting Asics Nova Blast for easy days, maybe longer as well, but not sure on a good shoe for speed track workouts. Okay. Yeah. So if you get the Asics Nova Blast and you want to stay with Asics, then I think the shoe for speed, but maybe not necessarily track workouts, could be the Evo Ride or even the Meta Racer if you want to stay within Asics. I think otherwise, like the SL20 could fit into that category really well. The Kinvara 11, maybe not so much, although normally the Kinvara, I would say, fits in that category. Hyperion Tempo, I think, would work out great. Boston 9, I think, would also be really good for those. Those are kind of like the ones that I typically like to mention. Martha agrees with the Boston 9. All right. Yeah, Andres says the A6 Evo Ride is light and speedy and it's perfect for speed. It's another good one for sure. James Baker says my sister was isolating a while back and couldn't go out, so I ran around her garden like 50 times. It's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I've seen people do that, or I've heard of people doing that, and I don't know. I don't know if I could do that. All right, let's get to the next question. Turn this comment off, and then we'll get to the next one. All right, question number 4. The North Pole Marathon is run at the geographic North Pole, completely on ice, and they're having a 2021 edition run on April 13th, 2021. How much does it cost to enter the North Pole Marathon? Now, keep in mind, it's not just a race entry. Everyone meets in a certain place. You get flown up to the North Pole. You stay at the North Pole. I think there's a helicopter trip. I think there's a plane trip and a helicopter trip involved as well. And then, doing it all in reverse. And then there's like photographs and videographers and all this other stuff that you're getting. So you're getting a lot. I'm not saying it's a value, but you're getting a lot. So the number is going to be high. But how much do you think it costs to enter the North Pole Marathon? Chris has 1776 times SL20. Depending on how cheap you got them, I guess that could be right. Carlos Rivera says $5,000. Martha says $7,000. Brad says 4 canned goods. Shannon says $800. David, probably people that are in like the 3-digit territory are way off, just so you guys know. Martha says they pay you to enter. Wouldn't that be great? That's not going to happen that way though. Let's see. All right. Ooh, Mark says, Believe in the Run did an article of a plated Puma shoe. I'm interested. Yeah, what distance is a plated Puma shoe for? Because they've had spikes for a long time. So I think they have an experience with like rigid shoes that are meant to go fast. But is it? I don't know. I guess I'll have to read it myself. That's probably the answer to that. Jana says there's a run near her before Christmas where each runner gets a jingle bell and they run about 6K on some hills. Imagine the sound, like 100 runners. That would be great. I think I would really enjoy that. Frank Luller says Novablast SL20 was the pairing of 2020. That's probably right. I've never really thought about that. Like, what are the best ways to pair it? I suppose maybe next year I should be like maybe I'll make a video of like the best lineups that you could do. I don't know how I make that like a top 5, but maybe it's not a top 5. But here's like my best lineup of 2021. Let's see. All right, let's see if I got any more guesses for this. Carlos is getting close, but I think you're just guessing at this point. He's at 10K, 20K, but yeah. And all right, Fico, I think looked it up because he's got the exact right answer, but that's okay. Upper trend, 16,900 euros is the correct answer. But I think you get a discount if you pay it all up front in one go. So like a cool like 16 grand to get, and that's in euros, not dollars. So it's more than that in dollars. I don't even know what the conversion rate is, but it's ridiculously expensive. But like I mean, talk about like a once in a lifetime opportunity. Like you get a helicopter ride in there. I think there's a helicopter ride in there. The other thing, and here's where it connects to polar bears, is that the race director is like, yeah, we have to also have armed guards there too, because there's polar bears and they're worried that someone might get attacked by a polar bear. I don't think they would like plan on shooting the polar bear, but they would kind of like scare it off or something. I mean, I guess they might shoot the polar bear if they needed to, but there's armed guards as well, which I guess I kind of like would expect that there should be probably, or is like, if you see a gun at the North Pole, is it kind of like a space science fiction movie where it's like, what are you doing with a gun in space, man? Or is it like, of course, there's like walruses and stuff out here. Like, I don't know. I've never been to the North Pole. I don't really have plans for that, but I don't know. But yeah, that's just, I knew that these races would be expensive, but I just didn't think that any of them would be like the price of a car expensive. Oh, Martha says maybe they have tranquilizer darts. That's a possibility. Philip says, getting chased by a polar bear, perfect motivation for a new PB. That's for sure. I mean, the other thing to think about with this polar, like the Arctic, or like the North Pole Marathon, is I think that there's no like land up at the geographic North Pole, is there? It's just ice, right? So like you're running on snow on ice that's floating in the middle of the Arctic Sea? Ocean? I don't know. Mark says, can't they just tase the bear or feed it something else? I'm not really sure how that works. I've never, I don't know. And Daniel South says everybody probably has a gun up there. I would imagine everybody has a gun up there. But you know what I would want to know is like what brand of guns does everyone has? Like what gun would you trust when you need to shoot something right away and it's like negative, I don't know, however many degrees it is up there. Like do guns freeze up? Would a gun jam up from being too cold? Like I don't know. Roberto DeVille says, don't worry, Bear. I'm a vegetarian. That's so funny. EL says, polar bears are so dangerous that there's a town in northern Canada where it's illegal to keep your door locked so anyone can seek refuge. That's crazy. I mean, I guess it makes sense in a way, but it's also crazy. Mohammed Uddin says, hey, Ko, been watching your videos and live streams for a while now. Thanks for the content. Well, thanks for watching. What are your thoughts on running with weighted vests or ankle weights? I've seen people do it. I think Seth does it, or he used to do it. I swear he used to do it. Like running uphill, like running up a 14er with ankle weights on, I think he used to do. I can understand the concept. I mean, I don't think that's something that I really want to do. But when I was run commuting, I was regularly running with like a pack on, and it wasn't heavy, like a weighted vest, but it wasn't light, and I could definitely feel the difference. So like, I think that there could be a benefit to it, but I don't know. I think for endurance running, I'm not sure that it's necessarily one of the things that people need to do. I would probably, I guess, rather do like plyometric exercises or isometric exercises where I'm working on strength rather than weighing myself down while running. But I guess I really haven't thought about it too much. I don't know. Martha says, I hope that place in Canada has doorknobs instead of levers. Here the bears can easily break in a front door if it's a lever. That's crazy. That's funny. That reminds me of like the Boston have I told you like my fear of Boston Dynamics and their robot dogs that they made? But I mean, number one, the bears figuring out like doors is pretty terrifying. Yeah, that's like a nightmare. But like Boston Dynamics put out a video of their like robot dogs, and they can work in teams, which is just like, why would you teach it to work in teams? That's how it's going to take over. But there's like a video of like the Boston Dynamics dog walking through a series of doors. First, it opens the door itself and lets itself through. And it's a weighted door that closes like behind it, so I could figure out how to do that. And then at the next door, there's a guy with a hockey stick that's trying to poke it and like push it over and knock it over. And the Boston Dynamics dog eventually like can balance itself, figure it out, and then grabs the hockey stick and disarms the guy and then walks through the door. And then the third door, there's like another dog together. And the one dog is like, here, I'll open the door. And it waits for like the other dog to go through it. And they both go through it at the same time. It's just absolutely terrifying. I'm like, why did you do that? It's like Terminator stuff going on right there. Ed Chan says, weighted vest always make me think of Dragon Ball Z. That's funny. And Shannon says, I'd be worried my form would suck if I had weighted things on. Personally, I think weight training separately sounds safer, while the weighted option sounds super efficient. Yeah, I mean, that's a concern for me too, is that like, I definitely found that like when I was running a lot of run commuting miles, that I preferred heavier cushion shoes because there's more impact on the knee with each step. So like I think it changes. Your body certainly notices, but whether that's efficient or not efficient, I'm not really sure. Benoit says, I have ankle weights, but don't run with them. They're good for glute and ab exercises, though. All right. Cool. Yeah, Brian, you talk about the Boston Dynamics dogs. Black Mirror combined with that Velociraptor scene in Jurassic Park. Absolutely terrible. I mean, like, whose idea was? I mean, I guess it's Boston Dynamics. It's Boston Dynamics' idea to think of this stuff up. But I'm just like, why are we doing Matt says it's clear that the Boston Dynamics dogs are soon to be our new overlords. Wouldn't it be funny if Boston Dynamics changed their name to Skynet just to mess with everyone? Yeah, that would. I mean, I think that'd be like too close. Like, no, that's too real now. You can't do that. You're like actually scaring people. All right, let's get to the next question. That one was number 4. Oh, I didn't type in the question. Here we go. I'll do question number 5 and then do the bonus round for the giveaway for today. All right. Question number 5. Sorry. I'm not together today because, again, I got sucked into Mandalorian. I'm not very productive today. All right, here's question number 5. Held in Oymyakon, Siberia. I think that's what, I don't know that. That's probably not how you pronounce it, but I'm going to say Oymyakon, Siberia, the world's coldest permanently inhabited place. How many people finished the inaugural Pole of Cold marathon? I think it was January of like a year ago. It was their inaugural official marathon. How many people finished that? And the other thing that I learned doing some of this research is that there is another place that calls itself the Pole of Cold in China. I didn't do much research on that, but there's 2 poles of cold apparently. But how cold? How many people do we think finished it? Brent says -3. All right, let's see. We've got Martha says 2. Derek Dixon says 25. Ryan Pauly says 3. Jeff Elliott says the kids and I love The Mandalorian. Yeah, I don't think I could watch it with my kids. The Star Wars Lego Holiday Special was more their speed. But even then, they lost interest like halfway through. They want to like Star Wars because they know I like it so much, but they don't. But I love The Mandalorian. It's so good. It's so good. It's like it's a straight up Western. And I don't know if maybe that's what I love about it. And every episode, I'm like, oh man, we're gonna get some real great storyline development. And then I'm like, oh, he got sidetracked by a side mission. And then it took me like 10 episodes to realize, oh, there's always gonna be a side mission. Every episode isn't there. So I don't know why it just never occurred to me that was how it was gonna be set up. But I don't know. I'm really enjoying it. It makes me feel like a kid to watch it. Yeah, Runner Will says Boston Dynamics basically is Skynet. Didn't Google or some other company buy them? Did Google buy Skynet? Boston Dynamics? I don't know. But isn't Boston Dynamics who got us GPS to begin with, right? So I mean, some of this stuff trickles down to consumer use. All right, I think I see the right answer here, but we've got Lewis coming with 3, EL with 1. That's close. Carrie Smith 15, Carlos with 5. Frank came in with 6. Fico came in with 0. And that is the correct answer. Jeff Elliott also had 0. Aiden coming in with 0. No one finished the inaugural, The inaugural Oymyakon Pole of Cold marathon. Let me see my fact sheet that I have here. The temperature started at -52 degrees Celsius, -61 degrees Fahrenheit. And the farthest distance run that day was 39 kilometers. And the guy was like, it did warm up a little bit, but I couldn't make it. It warmed up to -48 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but it doesn't really matter, does it? It's just ridiculously cold. I mean, that's like COVID vaccine cold, right? I mean, that's just ridiculously cold. I think that it was like a multi-distance race. So there was like a 5K. I think there was a half marathon as well. Not a ton of people made it out for the event, but the farthest distance run on that day was 39 kilometers. Crazy. All right. But let me get to the bonus. And I'm going to get to the bonus real quick because it's related to question number 5. Let me get it up on the screen here. And so whoever gets, I guess, the closest without going over will, the first person to get the closest without going over, we'll get the, and if you're continental US, we'll get the Pamu quiet for today. All right. So here's the bonus question. So it's related to the inaugural Pole of Cold marathon where no one finished. But it's not that no one's ever run a marathon in that town, but because it's pretty well accepted, it seems, that that's the coldest place on Earth that people live. people have gone there to run marathons. So what are the FKTs for the fastest marathon in Oymyakon? Or you can give me the FKT for the fastest 50K. Because there's been last year, like 2 weeks after that polar cold that no one finished, there was a dude that like strolled up from Moldova, somewhere in Europe, Moldovan man, ran a 50K, completed it. And then like years ago, some dude who was from Siberia ran a marathon. It was his first ever marathon, and he just ran it. He did an out and back, but it's recognized, at least in the running community, it seems, the cold weather running community, as a marathon completion. So how long did it take for either the marathon or the 50K? All right, let's see what the answers we got here. And let's see. Jeff Elliott says, someone said recently that negative 40 degrees Celsius and negative 40 degrees Fahrenheit are the same temperature. It's unfortunate that it's not a more useful temperature that's the same. You know, like if only like freezing temperature or boiling point were the same. You know, but I don't know. Stephen Grover says, negative 52. Holy cow, absolute zero is negative 250 around here. Andreas says it's so cold in Sweden, negative 4 Celsius. Just ran outside in the forest. Yeah, we're in the winter. All right. Let's see. Bad Badger 19 coming in with 4 hours and 15 minutes. That is not it. Kerry Smith coming in with 3:30. Not it either. I'm gonna look at my numbers real quick. Okay. No one's gone over yet. All right. 422 from Frank, 324 from Ben Y. Carlos Rivera, 545. Matt Legrand, 337. Carlos Cejas just throwing up numbers up there. Ryan Pauly with 412. Let's see who has the closest one so far. The correct answers, I'll give, because I think someone's probably got it by now. So the guy that ran it, the Siberian guy that ran his first marathon ever and just ran it in Oymyakon, ran it in 5 hours and 8 minutes. And the guy that was from Moldova, I don't know if I'm saying it right, Moldova, did it in 6 hours. They said they just said, they didn't specify, but they said a 6-hour sufferfest for a 50K. I don't know if he did an out and back or if he did a different loop or what, but those are the numbers that I got. So let's see who's the closest without going over. I did say without going over today, didn't I? So I don't know why I specified that, but Runner Dre had 4 hours, 4:35 from Scotty B. Derek Dixon had 5:08 on the dot. All right. I think that's the first one. All right. 5:08 on the dot. I'm going to put you guys on the honor system for that one. So, well, even though it is exactly the right number, Brett Reed says 4:15. David Prabhu had 3:01. I would think running a 4-hour marathon in any kind of wintry condition. If you're like sub freezing, I think a 4-hour marathon is pretty darn good. Yeah. I mean, I used to think. I mean, I still think the F3 half marathon in Chicago, which is end of January half marathon race along the lakefront. That can be a cold event. One year it was like 43 degrees. It was great weather to run it. The last year I ran it with a cold, like a sickness, and I ran it in like 155. I run it in a variety of like 155 to like 140 something. So yeah. But that's a whole different territory than some of these temperatures. All right, so who was it that I said I had it? Where this is Oymyakon. Funny. All right. Where did it go? So I forget who I said that had it. Someone who had 5:08 on the dot. Send me your address and I'll get you these earbuds. My email address is co.mike@gmail.com. So thanks everybody for participating. Some really crazy guesses, some really crazy times. I think in any event, going to that part of the world and just finishing a distance that long would be amazing. And I got to tell you, I'm kind of interested in it. But like, if you guys were gonna do that, would you want it to be like on a really cold day? Like, would you want to say like I did the Pole of Cold marathon and it was a cold one and I finished, or would you want to just be like, yeah, I did the Pole of Cold marathon. It's the coldest marathon in the world, and hope and pray for like a warmer day. I don't know. I feel like either way is a win. I mean, you still went there and did it, you know? So, all right. All right. I'm going to leave it there for today, guys. Thanks everybody for playing. Trivia Tuesday. I had a fantastic, where is that comment? There we go. Take it down. Thanks everybody for playing Trivia Tuesday. I had a good time. I hope you guys had a good time too. Tomorrow I will have a video. I'm still not exactly sure what it's going to be about, even though I had an extra day to kind of work on it or procrastinate on it. But I'll have a video tomorrow, and then we'll do another live stream, same time, 3 p.m. Central Time, right here on YouTube. Hopefully, I'll see you guys back here again. In the meantime, be safe out there on your runs, everybody. Thanks.